Black-eyed children. What are they? Although these creatures had been rumored to be stalking humans for the last several decades, no one really knows what they are. In this video, I'll be discussing the theories surrounding black-eyed children and their cousins, the white-eyed children. Then I will be discussing how to protect yourself from these entities. But first, what are the black-eyed children? No one knows for sure because several of their characteristics overlap with other mythical creatures and cryptids. But what we do know is that these creatures have been around since at least the 1980s. These creatures look like children between the ages of 6 and 16, and they approach people in their homes and their cars. They usually are dressed in old-fashioned clothing and ask people if they can use vintage technology such as telegraphs. There are very few stories of people letting these children into their homes, and it is generally accepted that if someone lets these children in, they won't make it out alive. These children are known for their entire eye being completely black. And there is another creature which is considered their relatives, but they are generally less common, called the white-eyed children, who have entirely white eyes. People have theorized that these children are ghosts, demons, vampires, or users of dark magic. UFO theorists theorize that these children are actually aliens trying to disguise themselves as humans. So what are the differences between black-eyed children and white-eyed children? Now, I have talked about black-eyed children a lot on my channel, and I will have a playlist linked to all of my black-eyed children videos in the description, but I very rarely talked about the white-eyed children. The most obvious difference between these two entities is the color of their eyes. Black-eyed children, also known as BEKs, have entirely black eyes, while white-eyed children, also known as WEKs, have entirely white eyes. According to encounters, white-eyed children differ from black-eyed children because they are more likely to travel solo, while black-eyed children are more likely to travel in pairs or in large groups. Black-eyed children are found in suburban areas such as parking lots and subdivisions. White-eyed children are either seen in the woods or in campgrounds. White-eyed children do not need permission to enter a house like black-eyed children. White-eyed children also have different powers compared to black-eyed children, including telepathy and mind control. White-eyed children are also stalkers, but are better at holding conversations than black-eyed children. People have noted that these children seem to act like typical children until they see their eyes. People sometimes say that these white-eyed children look at them from a distance, or they find handprints on their car for weeks before the child attempts to attack them. Here is a story I found about the white-eyed children, and the link to the source will be in the description. One story was about this guy who went for a ride, and when he came to a stop, the white-eyed child came into his truck. The kid asked for a ride home. The guy denied him a ride. The child said he was lost and was sort of polite, calling the guy sir. The kid got more aggressive, then disappeared. The guy thought it was a setup for a robbery. The next day, after he got off of work, he noticed greasy handprints all over his truck. When he got into his truck, he grabbed his gun from the glove box and sped home. Now, that is just one example of the white-eyed children and how they can be even more terrifying than the black-eyed children. Black-eyed children are known to go to people's houses, knock on their doors, or go up to people in parking lots asking if they can use some form of old-fashioned technology. But the key difference between white-eyed children and black-eyed children is that white-eyed children don't need permission to enter your space. Some theorize that these white-eyed children are some form of the Grim Reaper, warning people that someone they know is going to die. People theorize this because the white-eyed children tend to go after the elderly. Some theorize that white-eyed children are somehow superior to black-eyed children, and that they even have control over the black-eyed children and are the leaders of the black-eyed children, since it is way more common to encounter black-eyed children than it is to encounter white-eyed children. Now, how do you protect yourself from these supernatural children? It is not easy because no one knows for sure what they are, but there are some theories on ways to protect yourself. Then one of the most important things to know when you encounter a black-eyed child or a white-eyed child is do not look them in the eye. Both white-eyed children and black-eyed children are said to have supernatural powers, some of which include mind control. And in order to prevent this from happening, try not to look them in the eye. This will give less direct contact and make it harder for them to control you. Many supernatural creatures are repelled by salt, and since no one knows exactly what these children are, salt is a good bet because it can protect you from a lot of supernatural entities. Putting salt in your front door will prevent them from being able to enter. It can also protect you from harmful spirits such as demons. I read some articles that claim that if you do encounter black-eyed children and they are at your door, to grab some salt and create a circle around yourself. That way the energy from them can't get onto you. Also, putting the salt in front of your door would be very helpful, considering it helps against most supernatural entities. The third tip that I see a lot of experts claiming will help you against black-eyed children is the use of prayer. Some people claim that these entities are vampires or demons, meaning they could be afraid of higher powers and energies that work in the light. But the most powerful part of prayer is your belief. If you do not believe in what you're praying to, it won't work. You need to honestly believe in order for the prayer to work. So if you are going to use this technique of prayer, make sure you're praying to something you wholeheartedly believe in, because it is the belief and faith that makes this prayer so powerful. One interesting thing about the black-eyed children is that thinking about them attracts them to you. Now, this is a very, very interesting phenomenon when it comes to black-eyed children. There are very few stories of people not knowing about these children before encountering them. Most people learn about them and encounter them a short while later. The more often you think and research about them, the more likely you're going to encounter them. So if you do not want to meet black-eyed children or white-eyed children, do not spend large amounts of time thinking, researching, or learning about these entities. One of the biggest tips I can give you to protect yourself from black-eyed children is do not let them in. This is the most important way to protect yourself. Very few people who have let them in have lived to tell the tale. So you need to make sure that they never get in. Don't worry about being rude. If you encounter a black-eyed child or the white-eyed children, don't give them what they want. Now, another tip that I found when doing research about how to protect yourself from black-eyed children that I found very interesting is to shower. One tip that I read was to take a hot shower with lots of soap after encountering these children. Since so much of these children is unknown, if you encounter them, make sure to take a shower afterwards just to make sure that there is no supernatural residue left on you. Since very little is known about these creatures, who knows what power they can have over you? So it's very important that you take a shower and protect yourself after encountering these children. If you have any additional tips for how to protect yourself from black-eyed children or white-eyed children, make sure to leave it in the comments section below. Make sure to subscribe for more paranormal videos, and I'll see you all next time.